Hey there ladies and gents, KG16 here again, hope you're well. And today we're going for a commentary video in the Type 59 Tier 8 Premium Medium Tank with preferential matchmaking, which if you don't know what that means, it means it'll only ever see tanks one higher than its own tier. So you're not going to see tier 10s, you're only going to see tier 9s in this tank. Pretty nice for us. We are top tier, and in this match, as you can see on Prok, there's one artillery, one light tank per team, which is pretty nice. When there are 3, 4 or 5 light tanks per team, it's a nightmare for everybody on both teams. And so just to have one on each team is nice, and also to just have one artillery to worry about is just makes life a bit more bearable as well. My thought here at the start of Prok in a medium tank like this is to come to the ridge. A lot of the enemy team are going to congregate in the ABC12 area. I can come to the ridge in this tank because I don't have amazing gun depression. It's not as good as some of the other Tier 8 medium tanks that are on the enemy team. There are a couple of Polish mediums and the British FV4202 on their team, for example, with great gun depression. But I do have a strong turret, and that means I should be able to reliably bounce their 6s and 7s and hopefully their tier 8s as well. So as I say, although I can't see as well as some tanks on my team can, I can sit there and see what I can see and hopefully bounce some shots. Now, I'm getting some assistance here in this game already, as you can see, and one of the reasons for that is because our light tank is not really scouting this ridge. You've probably heard other YouTubers, content creators say that, you know, you live or die on your light tanks on a map like Prok, and it's very, very true, because your light tank is everything. Because of this central ridge, they're the only ones with the mobility really and view range to be able to run the ridge and not get hit by artillery. But our light tank has got his own agenda, and I'm not sure what his plan was. He does come in handy later on in the game, as you'll see, but at the moment he's running around our own half of the map. That's good for us because it means I can get some assistance by sitting here on this ridge, and that is good when you're going for marks of excellence, as I am in this tank, because spotting damage or tracking damage, which are both known as assisted damage, are good because they help. It counts towards your damage standing, which is a thing that gets your mark of excellence for you on your tank. Now let's talk about the game then. As you can see, I've got 2 or 3 medium tanks on my right hand side. I'm being wary of them. I think one's an Easy 8. There is a Polish medium, and maybe the FV is there somewhere as well. And there is a Tiger P sitting on the 2 line, which we're going to need to just watch out later on. You try and get a shot there into the FV. That was never going to pen. Now we spot this little T6 VK heavy tank. I'm laughing when I talk about him because as I've watched this match a couple of times, he was actually a pretty good player, and he actually gets a shot into us a little bit later on. Now, as we're focusing on him, the Polish medium to my right over peaks a little bit, puts a shot into us, but does get punished by the team. That gives me a bit of confidence because I'll know that the tanks behind me are paying attention to anyone peeking over the ridge. So that gives you a bit more confidence when you're in an aggressive scouting position like this bowl. Now we bounce one from the VK off the back of our tank, and he's keeping his gun trained on us, and there he pens us. Did you see that? Thankfully we were able to take him out because my team wasn't able to see him. I don't think he was so far back that we were vulnerable to him. So now he's out. We now spot the Tiger Pete. There he is on the 3 line. We've got a medium. It's this British FV in front of us. He's going to be an enemy we have to watch out for as the game goes on. And artillery announces its presence by sending something from the sky that nobody wants. But anyway, that's the way it goes. So when artillery is in the game, you have to deal with it. It just does mean, though, because I've lost a significant amount of hit points there, I'm going to have to just be extra careful. But I'm going to keep on doing the same thing. I'm in this great scouting position, and I know I can rely on my turret. As long as I don't overpeak, I should be okay. I know the guys behind me have been shooting enemies, although now that I look at the map, there were 2 heavy tanks back there on the K line, and they both seem to have gone, so obviously they're now out of the game. So what I have got behind me is my artillery and a Crusader, Crusader SP, British artillery. He is a really, really good player, and as you can see, he gets a hit in there, and I say great shot. And I've also got a Borsig behind me as well, and as the game goes on, you'll see that between the 3 of us, we work quite well together. I'm still getting lots of assistance now. I mean, we're on 4,835 assistance, which is a big amount of assistance. This position's really paying off for us. If we could just stay alive and not get hit by artillery, that would be great. Now, I made a mistake there coming out with the side of my tank showing to that Tiger P. It puts a shot into me. Not ideal, but it is what it is, and that just sometimes happens because you're trying to keep an eye on the map everywhere, and when you're looking one way, you know, somebody pops up. The Crusader again does a great job taking out that Tiger piece. That's 1 less tank we have to worry about on the 1-2 line. I'm just checking back this way because what can happen is the enemy can push down the railway tracks and start coming in along the K line in the K78 area. We're going to have to keep an eye on that in a second, but for now, still targets in front of us. Polish premium medium there, the CS52 Liz, that's a good tank. One I don't want to take a hit from because it'll take me out. So the game plan is, let's keep lighting up these enemy targets for my Crusader artillery, who's a pretty good player, to get shots at, and thankfully we get a shot into the side of the Caro there, and the artillery is up. Why is the artillery up? Because our wheelie boy has gone down there to light him up, which is fantastic. Now I'm just hoping and praying and get that arty out the game, because with the arty out the game, it makes this position so much stronger. And thankfully he does exactly that. The EBR Hotchkiss takes out the enemy M12. Now the game is still pretty close, and you remember we saying before about tanks coming along the K line. Well, there was a T-54 E2 who got deleted between the Borsig and the Crusader, and now it's just those 2 tanks and me, and we're against 3 enemy medium tanks at tier 8. We've got a T69, we've got the British FV4202P, and I can't remember who the other one is. Oh, it's the Polish tank, that's right, the CS52 Lis, I think. So, the T69 gets tagged, I think by the Borsig, and by me. And then the Caro is there. This is going to be an awkward pen. He bounces off my turret, we bounce off the front of him. I can see this T69 is YOLOing forward, he's going for me. I'm going to try and get another shot attempt at this Caro, and he bounces off our turret again, but now I'm worried because the T69 is coming over. Thankfully he's stock, so he's got a 75mm gun, you know, with about 140 alpha. He hits me for 140, bounces, and then gets deleted by the Borsig, and at the same time the Crusader takes out the Caro that was up there on the ridge. I'm not sure what happened with that T69 because he fired 2, and then either his gun broke or he didn't have any more shells, but anyway, I was very, very lucky, and now I'm on 32 hit points and a prayer. So as I'm sitting here in this corner, I'm thinking actually this is a pretty good defensive position. I can get view range out, and as you can see I spotted the British FV there, so we know where he is, and I'm thinking if we can stay here I should be able to spot, and the Borsig's got a big gun and the artillery has got a good gun, and between us we should be able to, you know, defend this position and hopefully win. Artillery communicating there to say he's got a few seconds reloading and to check the 1-2 line. So I'm saying, okay, I'll do that. You guys defend the base. They say, okay. And the Borsig says, okay, so that's good. This gives me confidence. And, you know, if you can communicate, guys, and you all communicate, especially in these tight situations where it's 3 versus 3, it's fantastic. Now, I'm getting lit. I'm panicking. I'm thinking, where is this Hammer? Where is this CS52? There's the Polish medium. I'm thinking, well, surely the Borsley must be able to see him. It doesn't look like his turret's pointing at me. Someone else is targeting me. It's this guy. Here's the hammer. Let's hope he misses me, which he does. He fires his shot into the ridge. He's got a pretty good reload, so I need to be careful. And there you go, he fires again, but it hits the side of my turret. I need to come up and take him out before he reloads again. I wouldn't have been able to pen the front of his turret, by the way, so that I had to extend a little bit further there just to get the shot into the front. I'm now coming to think I can get a shot into the side of the Polish tank, but the Borsig takes him out. GG's, everybody. We're all saying thanks and GG's to everybody. Everybody's happy. We're all going out for a drink with each other later on. Life is good. Just one tank left then, which is the British FV4202P. Now, we remember where he was. He was on the railway line. I ping the map and tell my team that's where I'm going. I want the Borsig to have his gun pointing that way and the artillery to be zooming in on that area. What my plan is to get to the railway bridge and see if I can spot him. But I spot him there. Thankfully I'm still behind the ridge. I don't want to go over the ridge because sometimes it's possible to shoot underneath those trains that are up there on the railway tracks. But now he's dipped down and I'm unlit. I'm going to progress to the ridge, and my plan is to look along the railway lines and see if I can spot him. I call the Borsig over to give me a hand. I think he's on quite a lot of hit points, which is quite useful. And if he could come a bit more central, he would be able to get this tank in his render range. So where is this FV? He doesn't seem to be here, and if I were him, I would go somewhere that we would not be expecting him to be. I would probably head back to the ridge and use my gun depression and great turret that I have on an FV4202P along the central ridge. He doesn't seem to have done that, and actually he's made a mistake because he's come along the top, and as soon as he's got lit he hasn't stopped and retreated. He's kept on going. He's probably hoping we won't hit him, but as you can see we get a shot into him and delete that guy. Wow, what an amazing game that was. It was a bit hairy, 1 or 2 points, especially when that T69 autoloader dived over the ridge to give me death, and thankfully that didn't work. So as you can see, we've had a fantastic game. 2508 base XP is a really good score. 2700 damage, but a massive amount of assistance, and that means for today the Type 59 has been a super scout. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, everybody. Please do like the video if you did, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all next time.